Welcome to the Beards and Bitcoins podcast. Today, we're going to be interviewing Digital Lawrence from FomoHunt. It's a really interesting video. However, we did have a slight problem with the audio. You will hear a clicking in the background throughout some of the podcast. Unfortunately, there was just no way for us to pull that out without having to scrap the entire episode. And we felt like this was a great episode that you guys needed to hear. A lot of valuable information about the space. And also, we talk about hot Cheetos and what is better than that. So without further ado, here is the latest episode of Beards and Bitcoins. Hey guys, welcome to Beards and Bitcoins, the crypto podcast for the man's man and the women who love them. Today, we've got a super special guest for you guys coming to us all the way from Singapore, Digital Lawrence. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I am your co-host, Bitboy. This is your other co-host, Jay Chains. What is going on, Chains?
What is up, everybody? Lawrence, man, good to talk to you. How's Singapore?
It's nice, man. It's a bit warm. Very humid, but it's a beautiful city.
Still summertime over there?
Yeah, same season. So I guess it's, mid-September, so it's pretty hot.
Yeah. Well, I'd just like to give a shout out to the entire country of Singapore for not inviting me to this event. I couldn't have gone anyways, but, appreciate it, guys. I'm seeing freaking Jake Canfield out there taking pictures from rooftop pools, Nye taking all these pictures of the buildings, and I'm just in here with a freaking green screen with some beards behind me.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
There's always November.
What's in November? Shaving a beard? Not me.
The next big Singapore conference.
That's great. So people may have noticed, maybe they haven't because nobody actually pays attention to me except for myself. But people may have noticed I have not done any international traveling since I have been in crypto, or since
Didn't you just get your passport redone?
So that was the thing, is the entire time, all I needed to do was get my passport updated because it expired in September of 2017, I think. And I'm American. I like American food. I like American food, so I'm not a huge international traveler anyways, but I just had to go. All I had to do, this is literally all I had to do, was go to CVS and get a picture taken and then send it in. And it's like $100 or something,
Right.
I did it for months. But I finally, it's in the mail on the way back to me right now. So hopefully in the next months I'll be able to start, hitting up some of those conferences. Let me ask you this question real quick though. Whatever they make there in Singapore, whatever their food is, can they do it with ketchup only? That's how
probably.
I like it. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, definitely.
Sweet.
Why not? I'm
in then. That's perfect. So
yeah, they have chicken rice out here. It's very popular.
Chicken rice. It's like chicken fried.
What's chicken rice?
So chicken rice is like rotisserie chicken, sliced, into 8 slivers, still with the skin on it, very tender, and then lay it over a bed of white rice with some like sweet sauce on top, and it's fucking delicious. It's like one of their like local dishes that's very famous, and it's pretty inexpensive.
Sweet, nice. Man. I have been to the Philippines. That's the closest over there I've been. I went there several years ago. Probably 15 years ago now.
Yeah.
I ate a lot of rice while I was there.
Yeah, I love Southeast Asia. It's probably my favorite place in the world besides America.
So you've been over there at this conference, obviously, but this is not the only place you've been. You've been kind of traveling the world over the last several months. I mean, really for longer than that, but you guys have specifically been doing like a crypto adoption tour kind of thing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. We're building FomoHunt, which is like meetup.com for blockchain. Right now it has every blockchain event in the world on it. Some we're adding it, some manually added, aggregated, some like automatically scraped. We're just building the biggest repository for blockchain events globally. And then we're going to be adding some blockchain rewards. So Lightning Network, crypto, things like that. So if you check into an event, you get some money, you get some things. So we thought one of the cool things we could do is do an international tour and hit all the emerging markets and throw meetups there, onboard users, onboard people. I linked up with CoinDust, one of Nye's companies that he's invested and co-founded.
CoinDesk or CoinDust?
CoinDust.
Okay, good. I hate
Yeah, so that's an app dropping later this year. But yeah, we linked up and we've been hitting all the big incubators and all the big meetups and accelerators. We started in Toronto and then London, Berlin, Budapest, Prague, Poland, and then we went to Indonesia and now Singapore.
Damn, dude, that sounds like a nice little trip.
It's been good. It's been really good. It's a bit tiring, but I can't really complain because it's fun, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So FomoHunt is aiming to basically be the meetup app of blockchain. That's cool. So if you talked a little bit to my buddy Quinn about what we're doing, Mid-Earth Crypto, I think you mentioned.
Oh, yeah. I was totally blanking. I've like met so many people in the past week. Yeah. I saw Quinn in New York last.
Right. So yeah, so we're getting ready to go on our own little adoption tour here, which will be. I saw
that.
Yeah, I think pretty fun. So we're not going to call it the Crypto Adoption Tour because you guys stole that name. So I don't know what we're going to call it.
It's trademarked.
It's trademarked. You son of a. Yeah. Speaking of trademark, by the way, totally coming out of left field. Has anyone seen the new Bitboy hardware wallet?
It looks like a little Game Boy device.
No.
Sort of. No.
It looks more like a TI 81 calculator or something.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that.
I have not seen that.
Gary Leland, when we were at Podcast Movement 2019 in Orlando, he told us about that.
Yeah. He told me a guy was making a hardware wallet called Bitboy, and then somebody posted it on Twitter like last week. I guess the guy that made it, and the video got like 10 or 20,000. I got all these messages of people being like, "Have you seen this? This is your name. What is he doing?" And I was like, "I don't care. It's whatever." But I know.
How much money are you making from it?
Did you guys see that?
Bitcoin Benny trademarked his name.
Yeah. He trademarked his name, so nobody else can use it. So if somebody else uses it for like a scam or something, like says it, creates a fake account with his name, he can sue him. Now, I mean, you can't. It's hard to catch a internet scammer, obviously, but
true, not a bad idea.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone's going to try to steal the name Digital Lawrence. Probably not.
They better not.
You may be safe there.
Yeah.
Bitboy is also, did you guys know this, that Bitboy is the username of the guy who created the Bitcoin logo?
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's actually really crazy. Yeah. It was way back in a forum, the guy that, I think it was on Bitcoin Talk, that was the guy's username. He totally disappeared after he made the logo. So people are always asking me if that's me too, which it's not. I'm just like, I just created a superhero. That's all.
You're getting like ripped off left and right.
Well, to be fair, it's just a common name. I didn't realize how common the name was. Like, there's also, I mean, it's like Fred, Fred or Bill, Bitboy, obviously, because there is a Game Boy device. There's a Game Boy device, and then there's also the actual @Bitboy user handle is the guy that is the developer for Toro, which is an app where you can rent, cars. Kind of. So
like those are the luxury rental cars, right? Or you could get like a Ferrari or a Porsche.
You can, but they also have, Honda Civics, but yeah, they do have
that app sketches me out. I don't think I'd be comfortable. Like doesn't seem like it's worth it. It's like, hey, borrow my truck for $20. Like, what happens if you fuck it up?
Yeah, well, people like it because you don't have to go through all the hoops you have to go through with the rental cars. So, like, if you have bad credit and you go to do a rental car place, then they want you to put down like a $500 deposit or something, something like that. And your average person that has bad credit doesn't have the extra $500 to put down. So a lot of people like it for the lower end cars, but then of course they do have the nicer ones as well. So it's just everywhere. It's unfortunate for me. One day I'm going to be like, hey, remember that guy that had that same name as that hardware wallet that's so popular and everybody loves?
Yeah.
What happened?
That was me.
that was me. What was that guy like? I'll be a meme one day.
And do you want a vanilla milkshake with that?
No, man. I'll be working at Chick-fil-A. I'm a good Southern boy.
Right.
So I'll be asking.
At least you get Sundays.
My pleasure.
Off at least.
My pleasure. Yeah. So, okay. So the other thing I want to ask you about is, so for this adoption tour, you guys are going around to all these different places. Like, what would you say that what are you guys finding by going to, just dropped a poker chip. What are you guys finding by going to all these different places, like in terms of adoption? Because What I found with our street videos we've been doing here is we are very far away in America from adoption. Basically, no one knows what Bitcoin is other than it's a digital currency and you buy things on the dark web. That's what people know about it. So what have you found like going to these other countries?
Well, I think it depends on which country, but it's so far away. It's like, I mean, even like the fabled land was like Shanghai. People are like, oh, China. And I went there last summer. Same as America. I mean, most people are like just going to work, using their local currency. There's like a small, group of people that know about Bitcoin, that are into crypto. I mean, I guess it's slowly growing. There's more people that are like, oh, I've heard of that. I'm more curious, like coming from traditional tech markets. But I mean, hard pressed to find like a city in the world where people are just like banging out like Bitcoin payments for like their rent and coffee. I mean, even Singapore, it's like none of these hotels take Bitcoin. None of these cabs take Bitcoins. None of these like restaurants really. I mean, you'll find like random weird spots, like some coffee shop in Poland had like the Visa, MasterCard, and Bitcoin symbol. They'll have like little places like that. But for the most part, it's about the same everywhere else in the world from my perspective. And now, allegedly Korea, which is the only Asia country I've never been to, allegedly Korea is very active, but I don't think it's, there's not like a city in the world that like people are getting paid in Bitcoin. I feel like in America, they always act like, oh, well, Asia's like so much farther along. They are in terms of like regulations, in my opinion, and like you're allowed to do more things, and there might be like deeper pockets or more capital in some ways, but there's not like, everybody just uses cash and debit cards for the most part.
Yeah. It's really, I mean, I think what we're finding is for those of us who have managed to kind of get outside of the echo chamber of crypto Twitter or crypto YouTube or whatever it might be, I think we're really actually finding we're way farther behind than I thought we were. Yeah.
I mean, you go to like an echo chamber in San Francisco and it's like 1,200 people like, oh, Bitcoin, everybody's using it. But you go like one block over to like a bar and like 99% of people our age that are there are just like, yeah, I've heard of Bitcoin, or like, oh, I might have bought one 2 years ago, but that's about it. They're not like, they don't have like social media profiles around it. They don't have companies, they don't have investments. Yeah, I've heard of it. To them, it's just like another share of Apple maybe, or like another.
That is something we see pretty commonly, is that people say, oh, that's like a stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have a buddy who's like a traditional stock investor, and he's just like, oh yeah, I have some Bitcoin. I sell it when it goes up. I mean, but do you buy it when it goes down?
Do you even think that like, the generation growing up right now is even interested in stocks? I mean, we know that, with cryptos and stuff, it's a little more exciting. The returns could be a little bit bigger. But I mean, I don't, I've got a bunch of younger siblings, and I don't think any of them invest in the stock market. I mean, I could be absolutely wrong, but I just don't know if, traditional investing is what's happening with the younger generation even to begin with.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's ever really been. I feel like it's always been like kind of a later age game, like the stock market, equity markets, like in America. I mean, you're hard pressed to find an 18-year-old graduating high school that's like knows about index funds, unless their family taught them, but they didn't learn it in school. So I think that like financial literacy is being passed down earlier to some families, but not like I don't think there's like 14-year-old, like I don't think it's a trend that like 14-year-olds are like learning about index funds as a whole. I think it's very just like anecdotal for the most part. I mean, my youngest brother is like 20, and he's like as deep in crypto as I am, but he doesn't really play. He just looks at stocks as just like another crypto, like, oh yeah, good time to buy Tesla here. Is it like looking at the chart or something? But I don't know. The whole financial system's kind of, the more you look at least for me, the more you look at crypto, the shadier stocks look. I'm just like, what makes stocks so legit? Like,
yeah.
Like, you own a part of Apple, but like, do you? What does that really mean? Like, are you at their board meetings?
You get no voting rights. No
voting rights. You don't get to help on the product. They don't give you anything. They don't like, oh yeah, the iPhone 11 is going to have 3 cameras. Like, they don't tell you a week early.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like lending capital to them for them to reinvest, to make more profits, and hopefully they distribute that back to you. But the stock market. Yeah.
I do think that, one thing that, because I mean, had never invested in stock. I mean, I maybe here and there a little bit, but like I wasn't into stocks or the market or anything before I got into crypto. And, seeing the manipulation in cryptocurrency, it does show you how things get manipulated in other sectors too. And so I watched a show called Billions. Have you watched that show?
No, I know what you're talking about though. I've never watched it.
It's phenomenal. Like it's a show that I guarantee you I would not have been interested in before I got into crypto. I would watch 2 episodes and be like, what are they talking about? This is stupid.
Right.
Now that I'm in crypto and understanding like how to long assets, how to short them, futures, options, the whole 9 yards. Now I watch that show and I actually understand what they're talking about. And there's a very thin line, I believe, between reality and fiction in these shows. A lot of these shows, they do research. The political shows, like what was the one with Kevin Spacey, House of Cards?
Yep.
Like,
yeah, that's a good one.
They exaggerate things, I believe, and there are some things that are like, probably outlandish. They're just totally making up out of thin air. But probably most of the stuff they're talking about on there is based off of something that's really happened before. And when you really see how these billionaires control the financial markets is really insane.
Yeah, I mean it's not all sunshine and roses. It's like, oh yeah, just invest in the stock market and everything's okay. There's like as much shadiness as it is in crypto, some part of that exists into like the traditional equity market.
Yeah.
And if not just as much, it's just they have a little more of a smoke screen because the mainstream media they have entire shows on like mainstream news outlets of like shilling stock tips.
Yeah.
Like how is that different from a YouTuber being like, buy this?
Yeah. It's not.
So it's not. It's just on a way larger scale.
Yeah.
But they'll pump out a certain stock for 6 months. Oh, like so-and-so earnings are supposed to be really well Q4, and they'll pump it for months on CNBC, and then it dumps. And they're like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. Dang, that's such a great comparison, honestly.
Yeah. It's just we're used to it. We grow up to it. Oh, that's normal. They have entire TV networks that shill stocks, pump and dump stocks. But we're used to it, and the banks play into it, and maybe there's some legitimacy, of course, but I mean, it's like a YouTuber shilling a small cap coin is not that much different from a major TV channel shilling a specific stock for 6 months saying it's a great buy.
That was a good point.
Yeah, I think one of the big differences, I'll tell you what they'll say the biggest difference is regulated exchanges. That's one of the biggest differences between, the markets. Now, is the regulation actually preventing manipulation? No, obviously not. But that's what I think the SEC would point to and say the big difference is. But,
except for like the collapse of Lehman Brothers and Bernie Madoff and, the whole financial wreckage of 2008-9. But yeah, I agree. Like there are regulations that make everybody feel good, but like, I don't know. What is that? I mean, it does keep it a little more, people aren't going broke in the stock market every day, right?
Yeah.
It's not like 1929 or whenever the big crash was. Like people aren't just like losing their ass every day. It's pretty well balanced. And also the government steps in.
Yeah.
Like the Federal Reserve does quantitative easing where they have a whole plunge protection team, which is a combination of the SEC, financial markets. I forget which ones, but it's like 4 of the major treasury departments. And it's literally the plunge protection team by law where they prevent the stock market from crashing.
Yeah.
So like, these shit coins that like dump 100%, if this was regulated by the government via the same policies, the government would halt the trading when it dumps 30% and goes, well, guys, can't let people get wrecked on this. The government's going to come bail out the shareholders. So it's like they keep it, it's less volatile.
Yeah.
Because the government will cover the downside.
Well, I think also another difference between the crypto markets and the stock markets is in the crypto markets, if you have $100,000, you can actually make the market move. In the stock market, you need millions of dollars to make the stock to make it move. I mean, for some coins, you need less
billions. Yeah.
For Bitcoin, $1 million, you can significantly impact the market.
Right. Yeah. And I guess that's just a point of liquidity.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually when the market's more mature, it'll be like the stock market. But yeah, right now, like you throw $10 million at Apple, it's like, okay, no one cares.
Yeah.
You'd have to throw like a $3 to $5 billion market buy on Apple for someone to be like, oh shit, what's going on here?
Well, I was going to say, like, if you put I think it's $1 million. If you put $1 million in Bitcoin at one time, if you put it in the right way through leverage trading or something like that, like, I mean, you're actually trading with 10 times that, so that's a significant, because the entire market cap right now is like 260 billion. Bitcoin dominance is 70%. So I guess it's around, 190 billion, somewhere around there. So if you have $1 million and you're leverage trading 100x on that, I mean, that's $100 million. That's a pretty significant amount,
You would need to have stones of steel to leverage trade $1 million. I mean, are you kidding?
You think you would? But if you also have that $1 million, then you might also have enough to be able to manipulate the market to make sure that you win. That's what those BART patterns are.
That's a good point.
That's why they call me Bitboy.
But still, man,
among 100 other things.
But
I mean, not call me 100 other things. 100 other things that are called Bitboy. So, what do you think, Lawrence? Have you seen this new thing where I thought this was very interesting. So, I did a little video last night talking about the Jay Clayton, the SEC chair, talking about the ETF is close. He basically said we're much closer to it. And, the ETF hopium, yada yada yada. But the interest about that statement was that he also said that basically we're seeing less manipulation in cryptocurrency. Do you believe that's true?
I didn't know he said that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's basing that on. And like compared to what, like a month ago, or compared to 5 years ago?
I would say probably a year ago when the ETF started heating up.
Yeah, maybe. But also, I think maybe the market's just like kind of still a protracted bear market, so there's not as much like liquidity to manipulate. Like, when there's like all that money in a huge bull run being like pumped between like hundreds of different alts and exchanges and arbitraging, like it's a lot easier to manipulate a market right now when like everything's kind of flat. It's like, it's pretty obvious if something pulls a 10x, people are immediately going to go scam. Yeah. But, in a bull run that's crazy and tons of like new liquidity, something pull a 10x, people are going to be like, great, where's the next 10x?
Yeah.
So
exactly. Where's the 100x? Where's the 1000x?
Ooh.
Yeah, where's the 1000x? So I don't know. I mean, where he probably knows better than me.
Yeah.
So like if he thinks that, then I guess he has some data, but I don't know what that could be based upon. I mean, the markets are somewhat flat over the past 2-3 months. So no manipulation because the market's flat, maybe. Yeah. But who were the manipulators and where have they gone? I don't know. I feel like they're still here.
I think if I were a betting man, which I am, that's why I'm in crypto. But I believe that what he's referring to there is they're getting, if you look at CoinMarketCap, which we destroyed on our show the last few weeks, but one of the things that happened when CoinMarketCap made this change to their algorithm recently is they now are requiring top 200 projects to have one of their verified data exchange partners. So basically what that means is they have to have an exchange, I believe, that is in their kind of like, they've created an alliance of exchanges. I know I did a story on that a few months ago, right, with Binance, and I think, all the biggest ones, but HitBTC's in there, so it's not legit, right? So all you got is these exchanges that are now part of this alliance, and now CoinMarketCap saying you got to be on one of these exchanges or else we won't count your data as legit. Well, the problem with this is, to the SEC, that may appear like they're making progress and there's less manipulation, but we know even on Binance there's a ton of manipulation. So just because these exchanges are saying like, oh, we're committed to removing fake volume, I mean, it's not really, we're still seeing a ton of fake volume. Obviously.
Fake volume, but they're still charging them like $2 million to get listed.
Well, what's interesting is some projects have came out and said that, not only are they charging you that, but then they're requiring you to give them X number of your coin, and then you're making them you're agreeing to letting them use bots to pump up your volume. Like that's part of the agreement you sign when you get on some of these exchanges.
And some of the the supply that they're asking for is, they become a pretty good controller of your project.
Yeah, it's sketchy for sure.
I mean, in some ways, it's very similar to IPOing on the stock exchange. Like when Uber, whoever wants to IPO, they have to go to Merrill Lynch or one of these big underwriters who end up buying 5 to 15% of their entire stock, underwriting it, buying it, and then putting it on the stock exchange and kind of being the market makers for the first couple of years or months. So it's kind of a practice carried on from the stock exchange where, all right, like to IPO, you have to pay tens of millions of dollars to one of these big banks to put you on NASDAQ or NSE. That's your listing fee to go public. And also some of that is your bots for liquidity and your market makers. So there's like order books. So, I mean, some of these exchanges, straight up kind of scammy. But same time, I guess I'm kind of like, look, man, if you want to go build an exchange and charge people, do it. Like, like no one's like free market. Like, obviously if you're hurting people and like outright scamming people, I don't like it. But, for people to like build a business and then charge people to like be on their platform, I'm kind of like, you're welcome to go build your own. Because, I mean, I guess that's the spirit of crypto, in my opinion. It's like, it's decentralized. Like, you're welcome to list your project wherever you want. You're welcome to pay however much they're asking. If you want to call them out, call them out. If you don't want to call them out but don't work with them, don't. But yeah, a lot of these exchanges are like straight up scammy. But yeah, I think a lot of them have cleaned up, or the market, the people in the market do a pretty good job at policing for the most part. But I think the government, you're seeing a lot of SEC action letters coming in now that there's gonna be a pretty clear debt by the end of this year. Like, a lot of projects are getting taken down right now behind the scenes, like pretty heavily by the governments. Yeah.
Woo. I hope it's not my project. Who knows?
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Hide your husband.
Hide your wife. The FTC's coming.
Yeah.
So let me ask a question. This is not crypto related. Yesterday was my mom's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom.
James. Nice. Happy birthday, man. Yeah. Happy belated.
Oh my gosh, it was my mom's birthday too.
Not my birthday, but my mom's, actually.
September 10th?
Yeah.
Nice. Happy birthday, Ms. Lawrence. Mama Lawrence.
Yep.
So yesterday, we're having a conversation. We go hang out with my siblings, and we're having a conversation about your favorite snack food. And so it comes up to chips. What's your favorite chip? Obviously, we all kind of go around and go around the room and talk about our favorite chip. And I get to the Doritos Jacked. Now, I found this really hilarious description. You guys know what Doritos Jacked is?
Are they like really hot?
No, they're like the super thick. It's like if you were to make like Doritos, but like make them 3 times as thick as a normal Dorito.
Like Doritos on steroids. Jacked.
Yeah,
I've never heard of those.
I haven't either. I mean, I think I've seen it in the store, but I don't know what it was.
So this is the funniest description of a Doritos Jacked. It is the clumsy, overeager, chubby younger brother of the Dorito that wants so badly to hang out in your mouth, but just not quite cool enough. I thought that's ridiculous. But so Doritos Jacked is could be. I mean, you're like the Guillermo of the Dorito.
Yeah, it's true. I am Guillermo of the show, I've realized.
So my answer was Doritos. Lawrence, what is your favorite snack and or chip?
I'm not a big chip person. I mean, I like chips, but if I have to go favorite chip, I'm going to just go classic, like Pringles, like cheddar.
Yeah,
maybe.
Pringles cheddars is good.
Pringles are good, man. You can just a stack of them.
Dude, all day. I mean, or the classic Doritos Cool Ranch. I mean, that's just a classic. And then a snack, like when we're talking unhealthy, I mean, I'm just going to say fruit roll-up off the top.
Okay.
I haven't thought of fruit roll-up in a long time.
Oh, yeah. And then if you're talking healthy, I can eat like 7 watermelons.
No. We're not.
Those are like,
we're not talking healthy here. Let's go ahead and skip that.
I mean, throw me on like a fruit roll-up in a cheese Pringle can, and I'm like locked in for the evening.
So, question about the watermelon. There's some people in the South that like to throw salt on a watermelon. I've never been a fan of that at all.
No, I'm not either.
I started to do this thing. I can't remember if I saw someone else do it, but I put like Tony's. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's like the season. It's like a Cajun seasoning
on the watermelon.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of because they put cayenne pepper on. I think in LA I saw some dude do it, like watermelon slices with pepper. And I was like, yeah, it's a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. It's pretty good. Into it.
Nice.
What about you? I grew up eating watermelon with salt on it because that's what my family does. And I thought that was the way that you ate watermelon. And then once I got older and I was poor and couldn't afford salt, right, as a college student, yes, that's right. I wasn't even worth my salt. But I said, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm just going to eat it. And I was like, wow, my family's been lying to me ever since I was a child. I definitely prefer the juiciness of the watermelon with no salt.
It's funny when you learn something from your family really young and then you get like old and then you're like, wait, that's fucking weird.
But sometimes there's things that you're like, you know, sometimes there's things that you start ingraining. Well, you don't have children, I don't think, right? You don't have kids.
No.
But there's things I like ingrained in my children that my family ingrained in me because I got older and I was like, gosh, they really were right about this thing, you know? So I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's weird to see both things. But if I had to go with a chip, I mean, it's really hard for me because one thing I really like is salt and vinegar wavy chips, like Ruffles, but salt and vinegar. But they only make them in like the smaller brands, like Tom's or some of the random chips, you know, you see at the store. For major chips, I got to go probably with the Doritos chili. I like the Doritos, the chili ones.
The sweet chili?
Sweet chili, yeah, sweet chili. I love those.
Purple?
Yeah, dude, at the bottom of the bag when all the little, you know, things. Another one I like that I go in waves with, no pun intended, is the Fritos honey barbecue twists.
Oh my goodness, those are.
I'm in on those.
Those are so good.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I'm all in. I'm all in.
I mean, that's the type of thing that you crush the entire bag of. I mean, you just can't stop eating them.
Easy. No matter how big the bag is, you can't stop.
Costco, done.
I don't know if they make big bags of those. Do they've only?
Well, they make the medium sized bags. The medium sized bags.
The really small bags.
Yeah. They got the really small bags, but they also, in those, they have the mediums, which are like, they're just a little bigger than a small chip bag, but like the whole bag is almost full. Like it's heavy when you pick it up, you know?
Yeah, not like your typical chip bag where, you know, 3/4 of it's just air. I mean, these things are full, solid.
But I got to say, my number one, I got to definitely go with Takis. I love Takis. I can go ham on some Takis, man. I love those things.
Never had them.
When I first, you've never had them? Oh.
No.
You like spicy stuff? Okay. Yeah. But the Takis, so the first time I had them was several years ago. Somebody had brought some for their lunch at a place where I was working, and somebody brought them, and I was like, gosh, I see, you know, I mean, it's a Mexican chip, you know, so you see the little Mexican section at the gas station, you know, with the bimbo stuff and, you know, the you know, chili flavored chips or not the lime chili flavored chips.
Chicharrones.
Yeah, the chicharrones. You see this stuff. And for a long time, I was like, you know, whatever. I don't want that section. But when I discovered the Takis, now the Takis have moved mainstream, though. The Takis are like, you know, regular.
Yeah.
But,
you got in early.
Oh, I got in early. On the Takis. Yeah. So they're so good. The first time I had them, I said, this will forever be my favorite snack. And it is, you know, but they're pretty spicy.
Don't forget about beef jerky, though.
What's that?
Don't forget about beef jerky. I know that's a big snack of yours.
Oh yeah, I eat so much beef jerky. It's insane. It doesn't matter how much my wife buys. She'll come home with like 10 bags of beef jerky and beef sticks and all this stuff. It never makes it more than one day at my house. Never, no matter how much she buys. So
I love beef jerky.
Yeah, dude. Have you ever had No Man's Land beef jerky?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's kind of a new one to hit the mainstream. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's very similar to homemade beef jerky if you've ever had homemade beef jerky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like really dry and it comes in strips instead of the little
Love that.
Oh, man, it's the best. I love No Man's Land. The bad thing is I can't buy it cheaper on their wholesale site than I can buy at the gas station. So, like, it's really expensive. It's like $9 for a pretty small bag, and you just gotta deal with it, man. You know, I could eat $50.
Take that out.
But how about, speaking of chips, how about this weird thing that I had a couple weeks ago? Hot Cheetos ice cream.
Oh, I saw that.
That looked gross, man. What was that?
It was good. So I took my wife out. It was her birthday a couple weeks ago, you know, Mama Wild Things. And my new editor-in-chief of BitboyCrypto.com. She's doing a phenomenal job writing some really cool articles out there.
Turn up.
Yeah. So we went out for her birthday, and I wanted to take her to the Disney store. She loves Disney. We have a Disney vacation coming up soon, you know, and like, so I took her there to get her some stuff at the Disney store, like some shirts for our trip or whatever. And when we walked in, immediately there's this place called, you know, ice cream cereal bar or something like that, a new store in our local mall, to where you can get cereal with your ice cream. So, you know, like Frosted Flakes and ice cream, Fruity Pebbles, you know, the whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah.
So they have some special blends, and one was Hot Cheetos. And I said, you know what? This is, I want ice cream with cereal. I want what you guys are selling here. I don't want to get this, you know, Hot Cheeto thing. But then I remembered the last time I was in Las Vegas, there was a Hot Cheeto dusted corn on the cob stick that you could get.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it. And I've regretted that decision ever since I got back. So when I go out there for World CryptoCon, I am definitely getting It's at a place, a hot dog stand near, I think near the place where they have the Ferris wheel. They got like a BLT hot dog that's like a sandwich on a hot dog. It's crazy.
What?
So I said, you know what? I'm going to get this hot Cheeto ice cream, even though I would rather have the other ice cream because I don't want to regret having this opportunity. I mean, this is taking life by the horns right now. You know?
Yeah.
So
and was it good?
What they did is they put hot Cheetos in the bottom of the ice cream, and then they blend it all up together, and it has like kind of a weird orange tint to it, and then they dust hot Cheeto dust on top of it. Now, I've already confessed my love for Takis. Now, we're going deep on the snack conversation, guys. I've already professed my love for Takis. So you know I like hot stuff. Hot Cheetos, I don't like as much as Takis, but I love the hot chip, okay? So for me, I've actually done this before where I've eaten Takis and chased it with ice cream. Because at some point I've just eaten too much I can't eat anymore, and I got to chase it with ice cream so I can keep eating more. So I actually thought like this could be a good idea. And let me tell you, it was phenomenal. It was really sweet. Now, by the time you got to the very bottom of the cone, the spiciness is overwhelming the ice cream. So like your mouth
just mush.
Mush? What do you mean?
Yeah. Like the dust. Like the dust just turned to like Cheeto mush.
I wouldn't say Cheeto mush. I mean, it's blended in. You know, it's like you blend anything.
Yeah, man. It's blended in. It's not mush.
In, bro. It's not mush.
I mean,
the hot
get
Cheeto,
with it, dude.
The hot Cheeto dust on the top is gone. By the time
crunchy anymore.
Huh? What'd you say, James?
All right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what
I was saying get with it, man. It's not mush.
It's not mush. Yeah, it's definitely not mush.
Fine.
But by the time you get to the bottom, you've already gone through the dust because the dust is sprinkled on the top of a cone. So by the time you get, even with the cone, you've already killed the dust. You're now into the actual hot Cheetos that are blended, not mushed in. They're blended in ice cream. And it's sweet. It's good. I'll tell you another thing I had that was really good when I was in the Philippines that people will always be like,
let's talk about it.
Cheese ice cream.
No, not into it.
I don't think so.
It sounds crazy.
Dude, I'm like Shark Tank. And for that, I'm out.
Kevin O'Leary, I'm out.
No.
Okay. But listen.
I'm out.
Nope.
Nope, I'm out.
I don't even want to hear about it.
All right.
It's like the hard chocolate shell at Dairy Queen. Have you guys seen the hard chocolate shell on a Dairy Queen cone?
Yeah.
I'm out.
It's like that, but it's a sweet cheese on top. And it's actually really good.
Dude, it's making my stomach hurt.
You guys are out, and I would be saying this if I was in your position.
That's the end of the show. You killed it.
Yeah.
Well, I can't.
I'm out.
I don't like vegetables, so I can't be that adventurous with like foreign food. But if it's some things that I actually like, even though it might sound kind of gross, like cheese and ice cream, like I can be adventurous with that. I can't be adventurous eating a freaking soup that has a
broccoli
cow tongue
sandwich
because it's got onions in it. I can't do it. I'll eat the cow tongue. I can't eat the onions.
I'm out.
You're out. I'm really sorry, man. Y'all are missing out on all of my ice cream. That most of my stories with adventurous food involves ice cream. Maybe that's why I'm so fat. So we'll have to see. I am running a marathon though. I announced it on.
Hey, good. Nice.
That's right. So I guess that pretty much brings to the end. Let me ask you this one last question, Lawrence, because this is something that we've been going back and forth with for the last few weeks. What is your thought on CoinMarketCap? Because I came out and white knighted for him a little bit the other day. So
big time.
Did he?
No, he did. And it was right after I made a video about trashing him. So I don't know if he saw my video or not, but he white knighted for him a little bit. I'm not throwing him under the bus. I mean, we like Nye or whatever, but what's your opinion on CoinMarketCap? What was that eye roll? What was that?
No, I was just joking. I mean, I guess they're all right. I mean, I don't know what else is there? Like CoinGecko, Coin. I mean, what do we like? I don't know. I mean, I guess that's how I used to check all the prices. And now I use like apps and stuff. I mean, from a data provider point of view, I guess they're pretty accurate. But like from like a platform and business model, I don't really follow them that close, to be honest. Like my only experiences with CoinMarketCap is like checking prices to see like what a price is. But no, I mean, I think they've gotten some flack in the back for having like bad advertisers before and stuff. And they're like the way they rank cryptos, I don't know exactly enough to like say, but I know a lot of people got pissed at them, like the way like their algorithm and sorting method is. It might be shady, like how they used to do things or how they do things now, but I don't know. I guess like the more I travel, like I just met, like I meet like a lot of these people. Like I know some of the people from CoinMarketCap, and I know some of the people from these exchanges, and it's like they probably have had some practices that aren't like good, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll white knight for them a little bit.
Sweet.
Just because they're like so OGs a bit that they've like done so much or like spearheaded so much. But there could be better upcoming platforms. Like I've checked out things on like CoinGecko, CoinPaprika. I forget the other ones. So what else is there?
360. There's a couple good ones.
Did you know? Because I'm always curious to see if people know this or not. Did you know that CoinMarketCap is far and away the number one website in all of crypto?
I didn't know that actually because
it's not even close. It crushes Binance, it crushes Coinbase, it crushes Cointelegraph, it crushes everything by a large margin.
Oh yeah, they're top 500 website in the world.
Yeah, they're about 350. They were almost in the top 100 during the bull run.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. I mean, they are sleeping giants of the industry that people don't even understand the scale that they're on. There's a lot of people trying to disrupt them. I think it needs to be very hard because of their brand equity that they have. Yeah. And they're just like domain authority and like their clout, you could say. But yeah, I didn't know either, honestly. I was doing a lot of research. I was like, okay, what kind of traffic ranking does Coindesk have? What does Cointelegraph have? What does Binance have? What does Coinbase have? I did like some late night research like about a year ago. And then I was like, oh, what about CoinMarketCap? And it was like number 400 in the world. I was like, what?
I know, it's crazy.
So man, they're powerhouses for sure. It's crazy. This industry is good luck trying to find an interview with the CEO of CoinMarketCap.
Good luck trying to find out what he looks like.
I know. It's funny. This industry is funny. They're doing a big reveal.
They should do a reveal?
They are in November in Singapore. They're doing a big event. Come meet the founder and CEO of CoinMarketCap.
Oh, see, that's because of our podcast.
Ooh.
I've been calling them out left and right. It wasn't actually. I'm just kidding. They obviously may have had that plan already, or I would assume they did. But yeah, it's definitely crazy. I mean, what other company do you know of that's a $20 to $30 million company per year annually that you cannot find out who the CEO is? You can find his name, but you can't find out any information about him other than that. You don't know what he looks like. Nothing. It's crazy. Oh, you can think of some more in crypto, maybe?
I mean, there are some like funds and stuff that make like crazy money that you would never know, but no, like mainstream company, no, that's one of the few, and maybe for good reasons. They were very. I mean,
maybe he looks like Quasimodo. I mean, that's what I think. Like maybe he just doesn't. Maybe he's like, I'm an ugly man. I'm terrible. Like maybe that's what it is. Maybe he looks like an incel. Like maybe that's what the issue.
He looks pretty normal.
You've seen him?
Yeah.
God, you shyster, Lawrence. You know all these guys. Him out.
You just got to dig.
Yeah, you got to dig.
He's on the internet somewhere.
Dig deep.
Yeah. Well, cool, Lawrence. Well, I guess that is all we got. Tell everybody where everybody can find you.
Digital Lawrence on Twitter. Same on Instagram. I think. Yeah, I have the website now too, digitallawrence.com. And got that secured. And just FomoHunt.com. Check it out. It's the best platform in crypto.
Nice.
Just give it a look.
Nice.
We appreciate your time today, buddy. Thanks for calling in from Singapore.
Thanks for having me. Sorry, it's like kind of just in a lobby. Wi-Fi is kind of weird here off and on, so hop down to the lobby to get on.
Yeah. Well, I think we can hear the Singaporean government tapping into the call. So.
Yeah. I'm out. They're coming to get me.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Just like cheese eyes.
I'm out. I'm out. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
Cool. Thanks, dude.
Appreciate it. Thank you a lot. Later, guys. Thank you.
We'll see you, Lawrence. Appreciate you coming on.
We got this shit knocking.